What's up, guys? It's Junior from JNC. Who do we have here? What you did today?
Lucas, I just got 7th at the Philadelphia 540-man regional, and I was playing Kashtira, Cash Money, baby.
Awesome. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
Any shout-outs?
Yeah, so big man who helped me with deck testing, Grant the Grant Man Williams. He's been huge. We got Matt Savino for the emotional support, and all my other homies out there who helped me play test and get ready for this event.
All right, show us the goo.
All right, so the first up for half the decks in this format, 3 of Kashtira Fenrir. Everyone knows what he does. He replaces himself and he goes like +2 because your opponent has to answer it.
Sir.
And play 3 because it's just that good.
Of course.
Then we have Kashtira Unicorn at 2. I'd play 3, but Konami for some reason decided to semi-limit a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter.
Right.
But he grabs whatever you need. Birth is the craziest card in this deck. You don't even need Theosis half the time. We did the 2 of Rise Heart. I think 2 is probably correct because if you really want one to be able to search, but like opening it is also pretty good. Droll's pretty big this format. Having it in hand gives you a lot of options to play under that. And then just being able to banish whatever you want. Like a lot of people just do the big bang, but I was like banishing whatever I want and then you grab back with the Theosis. Right. And it can fix so many hands and place under Droll again. Underrated card, Scareclaw Kashtira. Right. People don't read. This card exploits the crap out of that. Negates a monster. You answer towers this way. You answer like Dragoons this way. Pearly, whatever, negates their attack gain. You just swing over that. It's crazy. And again, just you banish Theosis from grave, grab back whatever you want. It's pretty amazing. That's all the cash package I played. I don't think the tier limits Kashtira is worth playing.
Okay.
It's just like doubling up. I'd rather play 2 of these before one of those. Then, standard Ash Blossom. It's a great card this format. Hits everything. Never was bad to see in the hand. Always felt good. Never a dead card. We did Shifter. I have mixed feelings about this card. I wanted to cut it so much going into this. But the fact is, like, a lot of people let your first search on, like, Unicorn or something go through. Right. Or Prosperity. You just chain this, and then they can't troll you afterwards. It's really big for that. I only really opened it twice today. Once versus Dragon Link, it was a killer, and once again versus tier limits. I lost that match because I'm a bad player.
No.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have made it this far if you were a bad player.
No, but you know what I mean.
Gotcha.
Then we're going into spells. We have Theosis. This card's pretty crazy. It specials them from deck. It's really good bait for an Ash Blossom because a lot of people think this is where you need to hit the deck. The deck's just so flexible. One hand trap doesn't really ever do anything to stop it unless, like even Nib today because of another card I'm playing never felt bad to get hit with. But this card's crazy. You use it, you get a guy from deck, and then like I was saying, you banish it with the Scare Cash. You can add back whatever you need from your banish pile, including like your Rise Hearts. Just put him back in the extra deck. He's at 1, but you don't have to treat him like he is.
Right.
Then you have the 3 of Field Spell. That's pretty standard. It searches a cash guy. The pop is pretty crazy because you don't need to resolve the Shangri-Era. You can just use it, and that's really nice for adding like pesky floodgates or like imperms and stuff. I used that a lot today to out stuff like, what do we hit with it? We hit a Rivalry. We hit a Grave of the Super Ancients. Like, it's crazy because Grave doesn't stop Shangri-Era. Shangri-Era triggers this. It pops it for free. I popped like in the 10th round, the branded players branded lost like 4 times.
Wow.
Yeah. Birth. This card sucks. Don't play it. I'm kidding.
Imagine.
This card is like it's like simultaneously the most broken thing, but it's also like it's not a starter. A lot of people want this card to be hit. Right. Personally, like if you're gonna hit this, I think you just put the Fenrir to 1 because of splash ability and just ban Rise Heart and bring Unicorn back to 3 because that was a stupid play, Konami.
Yeah.
But yeah, this card, insane in the grind game. Just insane to like banish 3 from grave if you have a guy. That can just be huge against a lot of decks. Like branded, they resolve Branded Fusion. You just, on an empty grave, you just hit Branded Fusion and double what they sent. That's pretty huge. Pot of Prosperity. This card should honestly be like limited or banned. No card should be, no deck should be seeing like 11 cards deep going first. It's insane.
Right.
And you know, in cash, you're like banishing all that stuff for Rise Hard to attach.
On that for sure.
So, this is the card that I think probably got me the top today. This is the Spice. I'm exposing it. This is what my buddy Grant put me on. So I replaced Book of Moon for this, so you know it had to be good.
Okay.
Enemy Controller. So it does the same thing as Book, where it can dodge targeting, get a monster off board if you need to get dodge something like Skill Drainer. That thankfully, like, I didn't see any like, you know, glue eating sort of like floodgate decks. But this is insane because Talents is a huge card in this format, and what they'd love to do is like take your Rise Heart and make it back into a Zeus.
Right.
And so you just take it back. Take it back. They nib you with this set. You can like interrupt them. So many like decks right now rely on having a monster on their board or in their grave. Whereas if you just take that from them, it makes it so hard for them to deal with. It like unlike Book of Moon, it like demands an answer immediately, and it can sometimes go 1-for-1 with your opponent just dodging an imperm or like a Book or something. That card's crazy. Lance, again, dodge like Skill Drain, dodge Book of Moon, dodge imperm. That card is okay. I don't think you need to run it, but it's definitely a pretty helpful one. You could swap that for like a Book of Moon or something. Sometimes the attack minus does happen, and it does come up like just to get over in like time or something if you need to get damage in. The Kashtira guys are big, but there's a lot of 3K bodies out there. So this is pretty huge. Double Thrust. It
Double Trust.
does whatever you want. It grabs Prosperity. It grabs Theosis. It grabs... so these are essentially like my spell targets for it. So we got the one of Feather Duster. It feels so nice to have an option for like a searchable back row removal in the main, because back row is huge right now. You've got Salad, Unchained, Labyrinth. There's even like Trap Tricks people running around, and then Terraforming because it gets me the field spell, and Kashtira field spells full combo.
Of course.
Then more targets. Imperm, if you just need to set something, Imperm's great. And then, you know, the one of Big Bang. This card's crazy if you resolve it on field. It's crazy if you resolve it when it's banished. That card is really messed up. Had a Sword Soul player, he made his token, and we just banished everything but the token.
Yikes.
And they can't even get into the 10E stuff half the time. So we'll go into the extra deck then.
Is there?
So first off, we have 3 Shangri-Ira. It's crazy in the grind game. It demands answers. You know, just because if they don't answer it, you're going to keep fishing guys from your deck. You're going to keep, you know, just blocking more of their monster zones. It's almost demands as much as an Arise Heart, but Arise Heart's just a floodgate on legs. Like, they got to deal with it.
Yeah.
There's the guy himself. He's crazy. Honestly, kind of format warping, changes how you build the extra deck. And again, just demands like any type of interaction or answers. We have the one Big Eye. Big Eye's really good. A lot of people are just playing Fenrir's and stuff like that to take, or because it's a permanent take and it's a soft once per turn. So I had a couple people here today, Big Welcome, Bounce It Back, or against the tier player, they had Kaleido, shuffled it back. I just made it and took their stuff again, because this deck can just make rank 7s. I never felt like I needed more than one. I used to do it, but to play around, like, because this card's crazy in the Cash Mirror specifically. Yeah. And so, like, the Cash player off Unicorn will always look in your extra and take those out, or take the Zeus's first. But I cut it to make room for some other stuff, just to be able to play around more. Dark Armed. This card's crazy. I used to not play it in Cash, and then I realized we're going into more of a floodgate heavy scenario. Right. So just being able to pop back row as opposed to like Draco Sack, which I cut for this, is huge. The other big thing with him is that because he banishes a card from your grave, you're able to get your Kashtira stuff banished. Like, he banishes Theosis 2, adds it back, and you can just keep grinding on your opponent. So you can be really skillful within you useless and just turn one pop into like a +3. Red Eye's Flare Metal, it burns your opponent in time. He did come up kinda, he never burned anyone, they just kind of scooped 30 seconds going into time, but they were at 400 life points. So like, yeah, I didn't want to play under Nib, so I just made that guy and passed it them with 400 life. 2 of Zeus, ban this card, it's stupid. Any 2 cards are an Xyz monster, it just turns into like a board clear, it's crazy. We played Donner. I didn't get hit with it. It bleeds really common in this format. A lot of time, or people just give you random stuff and you need to get it off your board.
Yeah.
Donner's really good to do that. Plus, it trades 1-for-1 with your opponent, or demands interruption. We have Baron. You make this by like normaling an Ash Blossom if you can. I made this once today. I used the Shuffle Back. I used the Pop. It definitely is a really good card right now. You don't need to play it, but it definitely helps a little bit. If you weren't going to play this, you'd probably just play like Draco Sack or something. If you're really scared of Nib, it's great to go into, but a lot of the times like you're torn because you don't really want to normal the Ash when you can just keep it in hand because Ash is such good interruption. The only time I made it, I had 2 Ash in hand. So the rest of this stuff is Prosperity targets. Usually what else I'd banish off the Prosperity is the Red Eyes Flare Metal in like games 1 and 2 because I know I'm not going into time, and then one of the 2 Zeuses.
Right.
So this all stuff is for Prosperity. Goliath, what he does is you can use a Rise Heart to attach him, and then he can't be destroyed by card effects, which is pretty solid. It helped me play a lot around Unchained with this. Unchained is coming up in the format. Definitely get this in there. We play Garura. Drawing cards is good, believe it or not. And then the last 2 cards are the 2 Fossil Fusions. This pops monsters, this pops back row, you banish it from grave. This was an Omega because you can use the Cyframe Lord Omega, shuffle back the Arise Heart.
Yep.
I never felt like I needed that. And so I wanted more back row removal. That's a way to get to it. I was so scared of trap decks coming into this, and I played a lot of back row decks. I think it's definitely worth being wary of. And then this, because this used to be an Entis, but usually like if they're outing the Arise Heart, it's getting like Kaiju or something, or getting like sent with Zeus material. So, and the Tis doesn't really do much in those situations. So I'd rather have this so I can like get them on the crack back.
Of course.
Yeah, because there's very few people who are like OTKing you through a full cash board. All their monsters are huge and all of them demand interruption.
Alright, let's run through it.
Alright, evenly matched. This card's crazy. The only deck like in the meta right now that you can really see with an Omni Negate is like Vanadium, and sometimes like Salad will pop up.
Right.
This card's crazy. Unchained hates this card. Kashtira hates this card. Branded hates this card. Pearly hates this card.
I think almost
Runic.
everybody in the
Yeah,
the
just
format.
if you're not playing it, I see so many people not running it. It's the answer to everything because this next card is in the format and it answers that. Anti-Spell Fragrance. This card's really dumb. I beat a Makonko player just because, you know, I drew my skill card.
Because he was playing Makonko.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Makonko is a particularly strong deck, but it has some really good matchups, and it can just catch you by surprise and sort of like ankle break you if you don't know what their game plan is. Luckily, I played against my buddy Hunter Landis on the deck a few times. He showed me how it worked, and I was ready for the matchup. But it definitely, if I didn't know what I was doing, it could catch me by surprise.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another, like, one of the most fun cards in the format. It's D-Barrier. It's a great card. It's a dumb card.
Despia loves it.
Yeah, the Despia loves it. Everyone loves it. It's fun. It's fair. It's balanced. The only tough part with it is I was debating just cutting it down to 1 because you can search it off Thrust. But like when you want to see it, you really want to see it. Like I won my game 2 in round 10 versus Branded, just because I had that card.
All right.
You know, the only tough part is Cash is an Xyz deck. They play from the field with their Xyz monster, so playing against something like Sprite can be a little tough, but a lot of the times you can wait a little bit and it's worth it. Another fun card this format, Droll and Lockbird. You can see I play a lot of fun cards this format in the side. So this card is definitely main deck worthy in a lot of decks. I don't like it with Cash because there's at least half the time I'm probably going first.
Right.
And you're almost every end board, unless you get like completely dumpstered, is going to end on an Arise Heart, which means you can't droll. Or I'm also maining Shifter, which also means the droll isn't live, unless I'm going to wait to use the Shifter. But there is stuff running around that just sends to grave for cost, so it's usually better just to have Shifter live and use Shifter to like stop you getting drolled yourself. So the last 3 cards is Cosmic Cyclone. I'm missing a 3rd copy. Shout out to Grantman for letting me borrow one. This card's crazy. It's really good against Runic. That's the only reason I'm playing this over like Twisters or something. But I've saw, and then again, Unchained is running around too. It's great. They target something with their dog, you banish it, and they cry.
All right.
It's really good. I think all of this is pretty standard. All these are good cards. I went back a lot and forth, but everything in here came up, and all of it felt really good to have.
All right. Awesome. Well, with that being said, this is Junior from JNC signing out. Peace.
Yep.